Hello everyone. Shared stories will occasionally be posted on the Don't Ruin Your Life channel, as with the occasional comment reviews. If you have a shared story that supports or expands on any Don't Ruin Your Life rule or advice item, or suggestion for a new advice item, you can email it to brian.older@earthlink.net. If a story is used, it may be edited for brevity. Try to keep it as short as possible, but nothing will be changed to alter the basic information in the story, nor will any part of your identity, including your email address, ever be revealed to anyone but me. All right, this first story, which is actually two related stories about two people, is a personal one from my own experience. The subject applies to Don't Ruin Your Life video number 2, Don't Lie About Anything Ever. Here's the first story. I had a friend for many years who liked to tell me made-up stories because it amused him to see if I would believe them. The stories were usually quite credible but false. Here's an actual example. He and I were riding together on a Montana back highway, and at one point he told me to keep my eyes open for zebras that might run out onto the highway from the bordering forest. He said that an exotic animal ranch had accidentally let a herd of zebras escape, and the zebras were still living in the area and maybe even reproducing. On the immediate surface, this was credible. There are many exotic animal ranches, especially in Texas, and they harbor many species of South American and African animals, various antelopes, giraffes, zebras, wildebeest, etc. Most of these businesses survive by letting people hunt the animals for a fee. When he told me about the escaped zebras, I said something like, "Really? Reproducing? I'm surprised they could live through the Montana winters." I asked a few more questions, and he finally admitted that he was just kidding. My friend had fabricated stories like this many times, or made credible but false statements randomly thrown in during a conversation. Once again, for his own amusement, he was testing my credulity. As I had a few times before, I asked what the purpose was of these so-called jokes, but he just shrugged it off with a laugh. He thought they were funny, but I saw them as fundamentally recreational psychological manipulation. Because of his irksome habit, I had over the years learned not to completely trust anything he said, but in this case I let my guard down. As I explained, the zebra story was momentarily and superficially credible. My friend had many good qualities, but this one, and others that were worse, eventually ended our relationship of many years. All right, here's the second story. This one is about a friend who shared the next-door dorm room in college. The thing about him is that he was scrupulously accurate in what he said. For example, he never said anything like, "There must have been 1,000,000 people in line at the movie theater." Or, to use the same hypothetical scenario, "The line was a mile long at the theater." Instead, he would say, "There were probably 50 people standing in line at the theater." Or, "The line was half a block long." If he talked about anything quantitative or qualitative, he used exact numbers or descriptions. He never exaggerated to make a point, and he never told so-called white lies as far as I could tell. If he was in a conversation with a group of people and someone made a false or exaggerated statement that was in any way connected to him, he would interject at some point and correct the statement with the true facts or figures. The bottom line is that over time I assumed that when this young man, a teenager at the time like me, said something, I automatically accepted it as true. I would have had no reservations about going into business with him or recommending him to anyone as a business partner or, for that matter, as a prospective husband or in-law to a friend or relative. He was honest, trustworthy, and dependable, and these character traits were reflected in his accurate use of language. The overall point to these stories is that any form of lying, even a well-meant white lie, and even exaggeration when done repeatedly, degrades your credibility. Conversely, being accurate and honest when you open your mouth, even about seemingly inconsequential things, enhances your credibility. And in social and business matters, credibility is everything. This is precisely why in Don't Ruin Your Life video number 2, Don't lie about anything ever. I went into some detail about seemingly inconsequential lies. If you haven't listened to it, I recommend doing so. You can find this video with the main YouTube search box, or go to the Don't Ruin Your Life channel and click on the videos link and scroll down to the early low-number videos. I also specifically recommend 3 other videos which are related to this story in their own ways. The first is Don't Ruin Your Life introductory video number 1. What does ruin your life mean? The other 2 you might tend to ignore because it seems that all the information you need is in the life rule itself. They are Don't Ruin Your Life number 1, Obey the Golden Rule, and Don't Ruin Your Life number 3, If you say you'll do something, do it. Again, these life rules might seem obvious or simplistic, but maybe you'll find the information in the videos more far-reaching, useful, and potentially life-altering than you might imagine. By the way, I think all 3 introductory videos are mandatory if you really want to be grounded in this series. And with that, I wish you all a good life.